why we have an ethical sloth encounter here.
Hey guys, we're going to be getting started with the sloth encounter here in just a little bit. We're getting some food ready. We normally start on about 10, but we're going to start I think one today at around 9:30. So if you guys keep following along, you're going to get to see what a sloth encounter is like with Flash. If you're just joining us, we are live here at Ocoee Riverside Farm. We have over 150 animals. And if you want to come do this, you can. You can go to our website, OcoeeRiversideFarm.com, and you can sign up to hold sloths, feed baby kangaroos, do horse rides, ride a camel, bottle feed Scottish Highland cows, all kinds of awesome stuff. All of our sloths here are two-toed or two-fingered Linnaeus sloths. Flash here is our adult sloth. He's about 8 years old, and we don't hold him, but we do get to feed him and pet him. The two sloths that if you want to hold, that would be Zoe and Ash.
Y'all come on in. Kevin, this is your 9:30 encounter.
Come on, 9:30 encounter, let's be friends.
You're going to be with Kevin this morning. No, it's at the sloths. These two with the sloth, yeah.
How's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. This is Flash.
Hey, Flash.
The sloth, not me. Finishing chopping up some veggies here. So a couple good little rules here is when we pet them, we just want to do long, slow strokes like this. Don't do that little cat scrunch thing. He hates that. He has horrible vision, so when we feed him, we want to give him his little food, and sometimes he's a little picky. Let's see how he's feeling this morning. Sometimes he's like, oh, I kind of want something else. No.
One of the carrots and squash.
Yeah, sweet potato, cucumber, and zucchini, and
Mealworms.
squash. No mealworms. Occasionally he gets boiled eggs. But we will keep feeding him as he wants to, and we will talk about a lot of sloth stuff. But you are welcome to pet him. You can get as close as you want. Just don't try to put your fingers in his mouth because he doesn't like it.
Okay,
He's
take
softer
pictures?
than I
You can
thought.
take pictures and videos. Yep. Yeah, they are soft. I think it's kind of like between beard hair and regular hair. Someone said troll doll hair, but I don't quite remember
Troll doll.
what that was like. I'm gonna put this cutting board up. Slide around here. Here we go.
Hey, Flash.
So where y'all from?
Knoxville?
Oh, cool. That's not too far.
No.
We got some cameras rolling here. I hope that's all right. Nobody's on Most Wanted or anything, right?
No.
Awesome, awesome. So all of our sloths here are two-toed or two-fingered Linnaeus sloths. And you hear a lot of people, they say toed, but we try to say fingered now because it's really like they have hind legs and then front limbs. All sloths, whether they're two or three-toed, have the same number of digits on the back legs. You can probably try to feed him another one now if you want. And this is always a good opportunity for a picture when he hangs down.
No.
He's like, so he's a huge fan of fruit, but we have to monitor his diet. So they eat 10% of their body weight every day. But they process their food through Rebecca. Oh, she's like, I'm ready for the picture. Don't miss it.
Is a girl.
He's
Boy.
a boy. Yeah. The only girl is Zoe right in there. Her birthday was December 16th, and that's when she turned 1.
Oh.
Yeah. It is. It is a 3-banded armadillo, and the reason that we have him is they are all part of the superorder Zathorin, and that's the ability to curl themselves up in a ball.
Got a picture with
Sure.
him.
So you can see how small his pupils are. He has monorod chromacy, which means he only sees in black and white. You can get right next to him. Like, you can put your head against him.
Yeah, put your head against it.
There you go. You wouldn't want to do that with a wild sloth. Here, you guys want me to get both of you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Alright, there we go. There you go, Flash. Good, get the light. You can tag Army in that, you'll be sponsored. No, I'm just kidding. But it shows up really good in the picture. John retired from the Navy, and an Army guy. He,
Sam, there's somebody here that they call Army.
yeah, well, yeah, he always comes and he always gets online. Usually, he's like, "Hey, Army says, tell Navy says hello," you know, into all the military jokes.
Oh yeah.
I was Air Force, so we don't talk about that because I was like, well, I just stayed in all the hotels and you guys worry
The
about it.
Wi-Fi's out.
Yeah, I'm like, Wi-Fi's out, we gotta go to the hotel. It was a long time ago, Guam and Hawaii.
Me
So.
too. You're in Hawaii?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. It's at Schofield Barracks.
I was at Bellows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, people were like, is that even a base? And I was like, not really. I mean, there's a vice president's house
It's
or like
there.
in a golf putt, and I was like, it was sweet.
Hey, buddy.
So in the wild, sloths typically live to about 20 to 30 years. That's because they're gonna either reach out and touch some power lines because they don't know how electricity works, or loss of environment, or just a natural predator. But in captivity, they're gonna live over 50 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're pretty stoked that the sloths will live longer than us, at least from this point in our lives, right?
How old is Flash?
Flash is only 8,
Okay.
so he's got a long time. The world record was 2 in Germany, Jan and Paula, and they were 52 and 54 years old. And one just died, and they were still having babies up until the last couple of years. So that usually leads to the fact that they could even live longer, because typically you stop reproducing well before you're kind of about to expire naturally.
I'm surprised they had babies up until
Yeah.
50s.
Yeah,
And the babies are genetically fine?
yeah, yeah, exactly. You're like, how are they doing? No, they're good. They're good.
So you just have 2?
We have a third. The third is Dash, and he's only about 8 months old. He doesn't stay down here yet because he's too small, so he stays up in the main house. Anytime baby animals come here, we kind of keep them close. There you go,
Oh, he likes
Flash.
that. Alright.
I thought you were.
We got Flash and Dash.
Flash, Dash, Zoe, and then the fourth one will hopefully be Chloe. So I have Zoe, Chloe, Flash, and Dash. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss
I
book.
love it. That's
Yeah.
Oh, hi. Okay, take a picture of that. You look at that. You don't like me. You like you.
Just have a carrot. Try something different.
So the reason that we don't have the three-toed here is they really need to eat the leaves of the Sarcopia tree, and that does not natively grow in North America. They're trying to grow some groves of them in Florida and places like that, but people that have tried to bring the sauce up here, it doesn't go out too well.
Like how, like, just so still.
Yep.
They're very still, and they don't have like any sweat glands, so that's their defense. Is be slow, don't smell, don't make sounds. If you looked at their skeletal system though, and you didn't know what they are, you'd be like, what is this fearsome creature swinging from the trees with giant teeth and everything? Well, that's not their angle. He's like, I'm posing, are we ready?
Yeah, take the picture. He goes back up, so he eats upside down. Obviously. Interesting.
Yeah, and that's the same process that we could do peristalsis of just like, you know, the muscles in our throat. Now his esophagus does go down his stomach and then loop back and then drop through with like a little check valve, so that's the reason he's not like constantly like kicking it back up. But he's not expending any energy when he's locked on like that. So his tendons are kind of opposite of ours. So once he closes like that, that's a relaxed state. So if you're ever holding like the baby sloths or anything and we go to take them away, they actually have to think like, okay, release. So it's the opposite of us. Like if we sit there and do that, our arms would be pumped in no time. It could take years to work up to it. As a baby, as soon as they come out, they can immediately just lock. Because that's how their tendons are set up.
So he's relaxed.
Yep. If they really need to conserve energy, they can slow down their metabolism to only 300 calories per day, which is ridiculously low because I'm pretty sure when we wake up, we immediately just burn 300 calories. Pretty remarkable. They're eating 10% of their body weight every day, which you're like, with Flash, how does he do that? But he only weighs about 13 to 15 pounds, and they use the bathroom every 7 to 10 days.
Really?
Yeah. And when they use the bathroom, they come down out of the tree and they go to the same spot and they get their butt all the way on the ground. He holds the tree, and we've watched him do it a ton lately. And he holds it and he does like a dance, like just what you'd think, like Winnie the Pooh bear dance. And it's the cutest / weirdest thing you've ever seen. So he's like holding on, he does it, he's smushing his butt in the ground, he uses the bathroom. So the reason he's doing that in the wild, in that excrement pile, is the sloth moth. Okay, so it grows in there. When he uses the bathroom, they crawl up onto his fur. And so out in the wild, he's gonna have between 100 to 200 bugs living all over him. They're laying eggs and everything. When he grooms himself, he gets the algae, the bacteria and everything on his claws and then ingests that. That's how they process their food. So we use enzymes, they use a bacterial process. That's the reason they're always like, oh, if you got bit by a sloth, you have to go to the doctor. I'm like, you get bit by anything, you're going to the doctor.
Yeah,
right.
I'm like, you get bit by a human, you're like, you're going to the doctor and the cops, you know? It's like, you're going to the doctor.
You get bit by a sloth, you're just slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they bite?
I mean, a wild sloth is a wild animal, you know? You pick up anything, a squirrel. People are like, will anything
Gosh,
bite you?
squirrels, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a wild animal. The reason Costa Rica has made it illegal, or they're trying to make it illegal to hold sloths, is you have people that are economically depressed or they need some cash or whatever. They see cruise ships coming in, a couple thousand people. They know they can go to the jungle, grab a sloth, and let a bunch of people hold it. What happens though is they dip it in bleach because they're trying to kill the bugs because nobody wants to hold a sloth full of stuff. Occasionally they even pull the teeth because people don't want to get bit either. But then the sloth only lasts about a month. So Costa Rica, to stop that, they're like, don't hold sloths. And I totally understand that because it's hard to regulate because Costa Rica just has roads and stuff everywhere. You can just put up a stand on the side of the road. Right.
So they have bugs all over them too?
No.
Okay, so how do they?
So they get their bacteria start from their mom when they start. And then, let's say he's not doing too well, we would and we do monitor his poop every time he does use the bathroom. So we can adjust that with fruit. If that still doesn't work, then we can go to like a probiotic. If that doesn't work, then we go to live culture. If that still doesn't work, then we go to a fecal transfer, which is exactly what it sounds like. But yeah, but because we have 3 sloths, that's why we're always good.
Got it.
Because we always have good bacteria. Yeah. But sometimes people get sloths and we tell them not to, and shortly thereafter they're like, yeah, because it happens quick. It's not like your lap up, you're like, oh, sure, I got the squirts, it'll be okay. Like, nope, gotta fix it now.
Oh yeah. So you can buy sloths, kind of like spider monkeys.
I don't say it too loudly because it's always on video, and people always ask, they're like, should I go get one? And we're always like, no.
You can come see ours.
Yeah.
A lot of care.
And yeah, exactly. Like temperature 75 to 80 degrees, humidity 50%. People are like, oh yeah, that temperature's fine. I'm like, so you remember when it was 15 degrees here for like 2 months?
Yeah.
The heating bill was pretty awesome. Like,
Hi.
he might take another bite now. He seems really into it.
You just don't like me feeding you. How about you try? No?
Try something else.
Squash?
Yeah, do a different one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yum. Oh, you're munching. Is that yummy? You want more?
He's a cutie.
He's very cute.
Yeah.
Here you go.
I don't think he knows it.
I didn't tell her what we were doing today.
Oh,
She
cool.
didn't know until she walked in.
That's awesome.
So she was trying to guess, and she was like, "Are we gonna see a calf birthing?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's what we're doing."
It's scheduled for you.
I was like, "They're gonna induce as soon as we get there."
I was just thinking of obscure things.
Hey, no, that was a
Because he
good
was
one.
like, you can't.
He's ready for another one. That's
Oh, you
and he
are?
thinks. So again, they have horrible vision, and he's like, "Is that finger to eat, or will it feed me?" Yeah. So they're really seeing, like, if, you know the cameras when they turn on at night and everything's kind of gray? That's what he's seeing in a very narrow field of vision. It's like him looking through a scope, that's how narrow it is, but with no quality and just very bad. That's alright, it can fall on the floor.
Here, come get him, like, eating, munching. Like, right. You don't want that one?
Yeah, I think he wants some of the moisture. So they don't drink water that much. They have water available in their areas, but I think sometimes they're always like, my mouth's kind of dry. I want the one with some water in it.
We just got an outdoor cat back like last June. She just kind of showed up and she fed her. So I've had cats before, but I started doing some research that said that cats don't drink a lot of water either. They get it from their kids.
Right.
And our cat, an outdoor cat, she's a murderer.
Oh,
She's a straight up murderer.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
Mainly chipmunks and
Oh, right.
Squirrels and just name it.
Well, if you guys are doing anything with the kangaroos, make sure that you disinfect your hands.
Okay.
So toxoplasmosis, which you know is not good for pregnant women, it is 1,000 times more deadly towards kangaroos.
Really?
So like if a wild cat walks through a field of kangaroos, the whole field of kangaroos could be dead the next day. That's the reason you don't see any cats here. Yeah.
Wow.
Which actually, I was listening to something the other day on the radio, and you know how some people end up with like 35 cats, and you're like, how do you get to think that that's a good decision? Like, at what point in your life you're like, 20's okay, but 21 is kind of over the limit, you know? So they were doing these studies, and the bacteria that is found that the rats get, which is kind of like toxoplasmosis, because they did a study with the rats. And after a while, the rats started being friendly towards the cats because that bacteria that's living over there got into their brain. They're like, no, this is a good host. And it got so docile that then the cats then started to eat the rats because that bacteria was in their brain. I was like, I guarantee it's the same bacteria that goes into people's brains. It's like, yep, this is okay. Let's have 50
20
cats. Yeah. So I was like, that's amazing. We end up learning all kinds of random stuff.
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it too. Oh, he's moving now.
I learned a fun fact the other day from a vet that if a dog eats antifreeze, you have to hook it up to vodka.
Yeah.
With an IV of vodka, and
We were
that
talking
will,
about that.
the liver will then not process the
Antifreeze.
antifreeze, it will process the vodka instead.
What?
I know, it's an emergency.
Was this a
thing.
Russian doctor that told you this?
No,
He's trying to up
it was
the
actually
vodka
the guy
sales.
selling
It's just-
Just
my cell phone
Yeah.
guy, but his mom is
Oh,
like
okay.
a specialty vet or something.
I was like, this guy's a door-to-door salesman, and he's good.
Yeah.
I have not Googled it yet, but I was like, I will use that fun fact soon.
That is good, though. Just tell the officer, be like, this is emergency. This is for the dogs.
Yeah, right. Why do you smell it?
Do you wanna? Hey, hang out with it more?
Sure. That's,
I mean, like, do you want me to video?
oh, no, that's fine. I got a good video of you.
So when they're coming down and they're using the bathroom, you know, it's only every 7 to 10 days,
Yeah.
but they lose 30% of their body weight. So imagine you weigh 200 pounds using the 60-pound bathroom break. So that's what's happening. And Zoe's real easy to see because she's shorter. So like towards the end of her bathroom cycle, she starts looking like an eggplant. I mean, she's like way out here because she goes from like 15 pounds back down to like 13 or so, you know? And it's exactly right every time.
So how much poop comes out? That much? That many pounds?
Yeah.
Like human size?
I
Wow.
mean, it's
Bigger?
like that, you know, it's about a pound of both. It's all together.
Huh.
And that's what we're looking for is like a consistency, you know, you
Right.
kind of want it right in the middle. You don't want it too runny, but you don't want like a solid brick either.
Uh-huh.
And that way you can tell like how their gut
Interesting.
is doing.
And how long does it take each time they do it?
A minute. Sometimes Zoe's pretty fast, but Flash still comes down the tree and does his little dance. Zoe's so brand new that sometimes it happens a lot in her hammock, which is kind of gross. So we're trying to maybe start moving the hammock towards the ground.
Okay. Potty training?
Yeah. Like, please stop doing it in your bed.
So where do you all get them?
So Flash came to us from a facility in Ohio where he was only ever behind glass. He was never interacted with at all. So it took 2 years of just feeding him every day at around 10 for him to want to do that. Zoe and Dash both came to us from a veterinarian and sloth expert who's been dealing with sloths for over 30 years. His first sloth was an injured sloth that could not go back to the jungle. So that's like his patient zero, right? So these sloths are about 15 generations removed from the jungle. So his whole theory is kind of the same as like the white rhinos. Like if they hadn't been breeding white rhinos in captivity, we would have no white rhinos. And it's kind of the same with Costa Rica and different places like that because a lot of people go in and grab the babies and do different things and try to smuggle them to make money. And he's like, he only deals with people that have like zoo licenses, which is what we have. And that's the reason we don't say his name, is because he would get 1,000 phone calls and then never talk to us again. So we're like, it's this guy. But when people are like, oh, could I get a sloth? We're like, yes, there is ways to go get a sloth, but if you pay less for a sloth than you would for like a really good used car, you just got a stolen sloth. So
Yeah.
don't do it.
Plus they're difficult to manage.
Yeah, and it's not like, oh, I left out some food and turned on the TV, I'll be back in a week. Like, no, it's not. And there's not really like a sloth kennel, you know?
Huh?
See if it's more.
More?
What grandma died.
Yeah, good.
So you guys staying here or?
No, just
No.
drove down for today.
Cool. Are you doing the farm tour or anything?
No, I just booked this. We had some plans later on today, and when I first started looking at this months ago,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, they are booked out.
Yep.
You know, I was,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
If you guys come back, definitely do the farm tour because it's not just like goats, you know, because a lot of people are like, yes, I've seen a goat, I'm 34 years old, I don't need to see one. But it's like sugar gliders, micro squirrels, hedgehogs, iguanas, like a bunch of really cool exotic things. We do start up there, but there's even sulcata tortoises up there, and like Scottish Highland cows that are the miniatures.
Oh, awesome.
Did you tell them what you tried to rescue yesterday?
Snappy turtle.
Nice.
I mean, I didn't obviously touch it. I had that bit something in between us,
Yeah.
but it was in the median, like near my work,
Yeah.
and then it wouldn't let us rescue it. It
Oh,
wouldn't let us
yeah.
push it across the roads. I stopped traffic and everything. So we just went to lunch, and when we came back, we were like, it's totally gonna be dead. It was gone. So I
Yeah.
guess I don't know. It was very slow going across a busy road.
Was it pretty
So-
big?
Yeah, about this big.
Oh yeah.
It's a good size.
That's a good one.
It
We
did,
had
yeah. Ugh.
Christian Cave. I call him kind of like the Black Sea Bird one. He's kind of like younger and he's hilarious. And but that's what he does. Like he's the guy that like jumps in the river and he's like, look, I got this, you know. And he just went to Amazon and he has an awesome video of them catching like a 16-foot anaconda.
Oh, man, I would not.
And I was like,
Oh.
I'm down for some adventure, but I was like, snakes and gators. I was like,
I'm not gonna do it.
I'm gonna need a lot of Diet Cokes to get through that one.
Is this a? Yeah.
Not a real one.
It's not real. That's one of the slots that costs less than a used
It
car.
is, yeah. Those are the bargains.
He'll sleep like that too.
So here he doesn't sleep like that because he has hammocks.
Oh, that's his room.
Yeah, so this is a 2-story enclosure that goes all the way up,
Oh.
and up at the top is the camel condo. So there's a big glass wall right here, so if you're staying upstairs, you get to see the sloth all the time.
So the camel condo is the only lodging where you would stay if you stayed here?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
no, it's right upstairs. But
Okay.
we have like the wagons and the cabin and all that other different stuff. Upstairs is cool, but it's like set up for kind of like 6 to 10 people.
Mhm.
So like 2 people, it's a little pricey, you know.
Mhm.
But it's pretty sweet. It's got a jacuzzi, 2 hanging beds, and then it has 2 bunk rooms that are super sweet for kids because do you remember Chronicles of Narnia?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you know how they open the wardrobe?
Yep.
That's how it's set up. So they have to find the wardrobe, open it, move the clothes, and go in. The reason I'm smiling, I have an 8-year-old little girl and she
Oh.
like goes bananas.
I bet.
But then when you go in there, there's little portals in the bottom of the floor, and you can look down and see the baby kangaroos or the baby camels.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, and there's like a game room, and there's like old school Pac-Man, but still an Oculus, and like all the kitchen stuff you'd ever want. So it's a sweet
We'll
setup.
have to tell people about that.
Yeah, if you get 10 people, like it's cheaper than going to like Motel 6.
Okay.
But you put 2 people in it, and you're like, well, this is an all-in trip. You know, you know how it
Yeah.
goes.
Huh. Do y'all have any RV spots?
No, because there's several huge RV places like within just 2
We
miles.
passed a couple.
Yeah, exactly. So we haven't trying to stay away from that
I got you.
because a lot of like what would happen is even if you say don't bring pets,
Yeah.
anybody showing up in an RV's got like that's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So versus having to deal with that every single time, it's like
Yeah.
let's keep it down a little bit.
I got you.
And it's not just the cats, but so we have those Great Pyrenees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw
And they're
one.
designed to protect, and
Yes, they
you
are.
let another dog that's not in the loop, that's not going to go out too well.
Mhm.
Like the guy who was working on the fence, he's a local guy and a friend. He brought his dog, and John was like, "Well, you probably should put your dog up." And he goes, "Okay, I'll do it in just a minute." He goes, "No, like you should do it now." He's like, "Why?" He's like, "Those Pyrenees will tear that dog up."
will eat your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, they're so sweet
Yeah,
to humans, you know.
and they work in packs, so it's like, and there's 3 of them, and it's like they're gonna take care of it. And their names are pretty fitting. They're Smith and Wesson and Remington, so it's like that's their job.
Love it. Actually, get to tour the Smith and Wesson factory in Maryville. Is it next Monday?
That'd be pretty
Next
cool.
Tuesday? Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
It's a group of veterans, this foundation, and they're all, it's like 20 of us going.
yeah.
Should be-
Cause didn't they move? Cause
Smith
like
and Wesson?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
This is their new facility.
Awesome.
Newer facility.
Cause they were like up in the Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, no me gusta.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
My girlfriend's mom's like 100% Hispanic, so I always try to work on my Spanish, but sometimes she drowns me in it. I'm like, whoa, we gotta slow down.
Oh, I know, it's so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's wife speaks fluent Spanish, and I minored in Spanish, and I'm
Yeah.
so far disconnected from it.
I lived in Costa Rica for a little bit and learned just enough to stay in and out of trouble, as they say.
How long did you live there?
About 4 months total. Around Terrialba and the Venezon, the Pay Bahi, bunch of good rivers down there.
It's on my list.
Don't do any of the all-inclusive
No.
unless that's your jam, but that's
I've never done it.
Too touristy.
So.
yeah, go to like Terrialba and there's some like hotel / hostel places, and then like they basically have like an online Craigslist. That's the best way to do it.
Okay.
We found like we got 2 houses and a car for like nothing. You just rent them straight from the locals. Like you can know a little bit of Spanish and sit down with them and have some food, split some drinks, and they'll be like, okay, here you go. They'll set it up.
Nice. Okay.
We even found a driver the first time we went down, but he showed up in like a clapped out Nissan Sentra, and we had like 4 kayaks, and I was like, that won't work.
Yeah.
He's like, let me call my cousin. And he comes back in like this awesome pimped out like Montero, and his cousin wearing like leather snakeskin boot things and looked like a European drug lord, and I was like, man, I hope this is gonna be okay. I was like, I don't wanna mess up his car. Always an adventure.
So where does sloths? They live in South America and Asia.
No, not really Asia.
Okay.
Costa Rica, Honduras, Brazil.
I don't know why I thought they lived in Asia. But I guess I thought they lived alongside pandas.
They need it to be 75 to 80 degrees pretty much all the time. They really don't control their body temperature, it's whatever is going on around them. He probably could take another bite of one of them now.
Looks like he's interested. No,
Did you guys sign up for the double or was it just flash?
just flash out.
Okay. Thank you, flash. What other questions did you guys have about old sloths here? So another cool fact about them is they have 46 ribs, 2 sets of 23. And the reason that that's really important is all their internal organs are attached to each other and to their ribs. They fall to the trees about once a week out in the wild, whether from their own accord or a predator trying to kind of jump down on them. When they fall though, they're going to survive the fall because they're not getting that secondary trauma. You know, like when we get in a car wreck, our biggest injury is our organs moving around. So when he smacks the ground, his stuff's not moving around, but that big cat is still going to be kind of stunned because they're falling like probably from 100 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
So he is built like a tank.
Yeah.
He is ready to take it.
Now, does he fall in here?
No. So the reason that they're falling, they're looking for the freshest leaves. The freshest leaves are on the ends of the branches. They have horrible eyesight, so they get to the end of the branch, they don't have thumbs, they're trying to just grab the branch, they're pulling it to themselves, and then sometimes it goes crack, or it's definitely going to crack when it goes from a 15-pound load to all of a sudden like a 55-pound load, because the harpy eagle or a jaguar is there with them.
How long have you worked here?
I started here last January. They were only open to just lodging guests at that point, and they needed to increase the social media presence. They had 2,500 people on Facebook, and that was it. So I started, and now we have 160,000 on Facebook and about the same on TikTok.
That's where I saw your TikTok.
Yeah, so I do that and like network engineering and software and talk and I don't know, just try to solve problems, right?
So you did not have an animal background before here?
So funny story is there's a place very similar to ours in North Georgia called like North Georgia Zoo or Zoo U or whatever. The people that own that, don't get your fingernails too much in, there you
Okay.
go, just flat like
Flat
that.
palm.
There you go.
That's what he likes.
So we all went to the same church, and so it was really funny. Like I was probably in my 20s, and they were just starting out, like taking the animals to places like that. So we would all kayak together, and then my dad would always help them work on their cars, because he worked at a NASCAR shop. And when you're starting a business, you know you don't have a lot of money. Your cars like go through stuff. So yeah, I've always been around animals,
That's awesome.
and I guess I can read, so that
Yeah.
helps. Just try to make things easier. You can see how light Flash is. See how Zoe's a little bit darker?
Yeah.
So Dash, at 8 months now, he's now kind of like a gray color, but only even just like a month ago, he was pretty much jet black. So people would show up in like these colors during the middle of the winter, and then I'd hold Dash like, take my picture. I'm like, can't see what you're holding. Looks like you just got lint on you. But they lighten up as they get older.
Okay.
But out in the wild, they're gonna have like almost a greenish yellowish tinge because their hair even has microscopic cracks in it. So the algae and bacteria grows inside their hair. And they think that it actually has a lot of medicinal aspects. So they've been studying it also because the way that it grows and it's still a living organism, it's pretty unusual.
They live in the log.
It's pretty funny. Another thing we're getting ready to start doing is llama trekking. So doing like guided hikes but with the llamas. So that way.
So you ride the llamas?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
Yeah.
Not least the burden.
I thought that you could ride them.
If you were maybe a small South American person that weighed maybe 80 pounds or something like that, you could probably roll with it. But this is more like, hey, let's put maybe like 20, 30 pounds of food on it, and they'll just walk forever. And they're pretty nimble, like they're really good at that. But yeah, not full size. They're all part of the camelid family, so you have camels, llamas, alpacas, and then it goes to vicunas and guanacos. Vicunas and guanacos are what's going to be found like in the mountains of Andes and Peru, and they've never been domesticated. They hunt them and use them for food and things like that. Interesting. And that's what in the wild, if they didn't domesticate the llama, they would use it for food.
And there's a llama and an alpaca out here.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of llamas, and there's probably 3 or 4 alpacas. Yeah,
That's really cute.
So what's the reason behind having him again, or her?
he's a relative. He is in the super order of Zathorin, so that ability to curl himself up in a spine, in a circle, is the same as the sloth and then the giant anteater.
Oh, okay, so they just get along really well then.
Yeah,
And you only have one of those?
right now, and his name is Baku or Bakugan, but we want to get another one and name her Shaka Khan, and then that way we would have the walkout music, you know? And he's hilarious. He likes to run around and dig into people's shoes. Yeah, and he's a mammal, so that outside part is basically a living shell, and it's warm to the touch. Let me grab him real quick. I'll let you film before we wrap up.
What is he again? Armadillo, that's right. And that's a normal size for one?
So he's still kind of a baby.
Okay.
So you can touch the outside. Feel it's warm. So this outside part is called his carapace, and it's made up of the same material as our hair and nails, which is keratin.
Hey.
All right, I'm gonna let him roll inside, and I think we got another one starting.
Okay. Thank you so much, man.
Sorry to. There you go,
That's
buddy.
okay.
He's pretty cool though, isn't he?
Hi, Flash. Nice to meet you, buddy.
Nice to meet you.
Be a good sloth.
Yeah, don't go anywhere fast.
No.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
If you guys had a good time, there's a QR code on the other side of the hand sanitizer. Great meeting you.
That's okay. Hope you were getting good rest. I hope you were resting well. All right. Yeah, sure. All right, thanks a lot. Okay, all right, y'all come on in. I'll be in a hot second.
Okay.
Y'all take over.
Come
for
on
you
in,
these
guys.
two in a minute.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're gonna chop up a couple of more veggies. This is Flash here. So a couple rules here is don't put your fingers in his mouth.
Got it.
And when you're petting him, try to just pat with the back of your hand. You can pat with the front, but a lot of people start to do the cat scrunch thing, you know?
He's not a cat.
He's not. He doesn't like it. He likes this. Do not go towards the belly because he'll be like, "Whoa, my space," you know.
Yeah.
And they have horrible vision. So when we're feeding them, as soon as you give it to him, then you kind of want to let him go. And he's been a little picky this morning. I'm like, yeah, he wants another squash. Is what he wants. It's okay as long as you know what you want, right? Let's see here, bud. You want one of these? I'm gonna chop up some of these while we're waiting. So all of our sloths here are two-toed or two-fingered Linnaeus sloths, and there's one whenever he's ready. If you want to feed him that little one right there. All we went over is how to pet and don't put your fingers in the mouth.
Not in his mouth, not my mouth. Either one of us might bite you if you stick your finger in our mouth.
I'm gonna have to agree.
Neither one of us are looking to bite you, but stick your finger in our mouth, you get what you get.
I don't think he wants it.
Is he not in a? Is he not hungry this morning?
Not super stoked. I didn't see any green beans in there, but we know how that went last time because I was blind. But I really didn't see the giant bag this morning. He seems to be a fan of squash and zucchini this morning.
I don't think we've given him any fruit in a few days, have we?
No.
We'll give him a little fruit this morning.
You want the banana?
Oh, yeah, there's one on top there.
Yeah. I'll let. And then let's see what else. Make sure that there's no. Okay. I do see that. Nope, that's collard greens. Do you want me to go check the other fridge for green beans?
No, they wouldn't be in the other fridge. Get one of these off the top. Oh, maybe actually that one's better.
They just opened it yesterday.
All right.
Are you good, John?
Yep.
Y'all have fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Warner, here's your radio.
Thank you, sir. And if you would please put that back on the charger and give that to Donna.
Sure. Is she awake?
Oh, did you not see her around the house?
I didn't see her.
Oh, then leave it with me.
Okay. I mean, she could be upstairs. I didn't check upstairs, but your
I
bedroom's
didn't see her.
downstairs, so.
Yeah, she probably is not.
Hey, no.
I'm sorry that she didn't have none in there. You don't want to try some squash? Whoops.
All right, great. Can I get it for you at the farm too?
Want to try some squash?
When I get done with this?
No squash.
All right, great.
Maybe I want some fruits.
All right, so this guy's name is Flash. Flash is a two-fingered sloth. Alive in the world today, there are two-fingered sloths and three-fingered sloths. And taxonomically, they are still called two-toed and three-toed, but the two-fingered, three-fingered makes a little more sense because all sloths have three toes on the back feet. So including this guy, they've got three on the back feet, two on the front feet. And other differences between two-fingered and three-fingered sloths. A two-fingered sloth is about 20% bigger than a three-fingered sloth is. And a two-fingered sloth is a far more robust animal than a three-fingered. So he smells the banana on my hand. Their smell is absolutely, sense of smell is absolutely wonderful. So the banana is going to get this guy moving and interested here this morning. And you guys will be able to feed him. And I'm going to show you one thing about a two-fingered sloth here before you guys start feeding him. So a two-fingered sloth moves his body much differently than a three-fingered sloth. You see that this guy can rotate until his hips and shoulders, his shoulders are facing this way right now, and his hips are facing that way right now. So he can go until his hips and shoulders are 180 out from each other, obviously in either direction. And so he rotates all the way around. And when he is down like this, you're welcome to stand approximately this close to the sloth to take your picture with him. If you want to stand on both sides, I'm happy to take your pictures for you.
Okay.
Please do take all the pictures and all the videos you want. Memories last longer with pictures.
So true.
All right, so you guys, this is his food. You're welcome to feed him. And I'm gonna just click for a few minutes here. So you guys just keep taking, and then they're nice and close with him, and I'll take a bunch of pictures for you. He's got his hand smack in the front of his face right now. If you say, hey, Flash, just make him turn his face over here to you. Give him a piece of food and he'll turn right to you. That'll make a cute picture. Just bring his face up to your face, and then it'll make a nice picture.
Up here?
Where y'all from?
So. Yeah, that's all.
Oh, excellent. You guys, oh, no, you're not still in school, right?
No.
Could have been PhD students or something.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Of course, I was an undergrad student when I was 30, so.
Were you?
I mean, not you guys are, I guess, 20s, but anyhow, so the two-fingered sloth, three-fingered sloth thing. If you look at it from a skeleton image, which I'm just Google searching sloth skeleton here, if you look at it from a skeleton image, what I'm saying is going to make more sense to you. So a two-fingered sloth is this. See, he's got two, just like that. He's got three, just like that. And observe the teeth on a two-fingered sloth. Massive, right? If you see him open his mouth, he's got ginormous teeth in there.
Big teeth.
This guy's got 46 ribs, 23 sets of ribs. If you look at his neck has only 5 vertebrae in it. He has no tail. If you look at a three-fingered sloth, the three-fingered sloth has 9 vertebrae in the neck between the shoulders and the skull, and he's got a tail. So and his arms are longer than his body, but his legs are short. The two-fingered, arms longer than body, legs longer than arms. So the three-fingered sloth has 3 vertebrae of a tail, and it's got 9 in its cervical spine. So the 4 missing from the neck and the 3 missing from the tail are all between the hips and shoulders of the two-fingered sloth.
Yeah.
Then he's got 46 ribs. The three-fingered has fewer. And it's not only protection for the sloth, but also he's got connective tissue going all back and forth between his ribs and his organs. So for us, our organs are just sitting in our pelvis, upper bounded by our diaphragm.
Yeah.
So if we were upside down like this guy for a long period of time, it would put back pressure on our diaphragm, we would run short of breath, and eventually our food would leach back up out of our stomach also. He is not so. He can be vertically upside down like this. He can be horizontally upside down like that. He could be hanging right side up like this. He can be laying on his back, belly, or side. No matter what his body position is, though, his organs will remain position and orientation exactly where they should be because of all of that connective tissue and all of those ribs.
So cool.
So also I mentioned that our food could eventually leach back up. His will not. If this is his stomach, he's got a one-way in the top so that food goes in, but it doesn't go back out.
Makes sense.
And there is a hook right there if you'd like to hang it, or you can throw it on a chair or on the whatever you want to do. So the sloths are famously slow. Everyone knows sloths are slow. I don't need to tell you that. But they are likely slow in ways that it has not occurred to you that a sloth could be slow.
Work on the deer real quick.
Okay.
They said I could bring her out home
If she'll walk.
yeah.
Yeah.
She got a lot of shades.
You want the banana.
Do we have to bleach afterwards, is that right?
Pretty much. Yeah. Is she up?
I don't know. I haven't looked before.
Yeah, if she's not up and walking, I don't know. But you'll have to just see what you can do.
Okay, and what about the medicine?
I'll give her the shots, but that big, huge bottle of saline is up there, and there is a syringe that's like this big in the tack room over with the horse supplies for flushing it
He
with.
said, I want salad
And then the white jar that's about like this, it is old looking. That's got the blue stuff that gets smeared over her leg and then they wrap it back up.
They don't want it wrapped up.
They don't want it
That's
wrapped
what
back up.
Kayla said that he's been sent off to do. I'm just supposed to do that.
Alright.
Looks like betadine stuff all over it.
Yeah, okay.
I know, I
The
don't.
betadine is in there. You might want to grab gloves.
Yeah, and then she told me to do, one's a wash, one's a scrub, and one's a leave off.
maybe he
Okay.
Michaela was explaining to me how they
All right.
sweet potato.
There's gloves in there, and I wouldn't be touching that stuff. That white here, I wouldn't be touching that. Yeah. All right, so the slowness of a sloth starts from the sloth's diet. In the wild, a sloth is eating about 90% leaf material. The leaves are very low in nutritional value, very low in caloric content. So the leaves provide them with very little nourishment. That is what starts out making a sloth slow, is its energy budget is dramatically low, extremely limited. The sloth is working on very few calories per day. The sloth, when his energy budget is so low, in fact, that he cannot maintain his body temperature. The sloth's core, see the size of the teeth on this dude, right?
Yeah.
So, and there are sloth encounters out there that they pull the sloth's teeth, and we don't do that, obviously. Our sloths like what they do, Our sloth, somebody just cleaned his glass, but normally there's smears all on this side. Because if it gets to be 10:01 and we're not in this room, he's smearing his nose all over the glass. And by 10:05, he'll be beating the heck out of the door like this. And when a sloth is telling you to shake a leg, you know, you gotta check yourself. So our sloths actually like what they do, which is the main difference between our sloths and the other places. Well, I don't really talk bad about it. Anyway, so the sloth, his energy budget is so low that he cannot maintain his body temperature. So his core body temperature is going to be whatever the outside air temperature is. His nighttime core body temperature can be 19 degrees Fahrenheit less than his daytime core body temperature.
Wow.
Put that to human perspective, that's us dropping from 98.6 down to 79.6. Obviously, the coroner would be interested in that, but no one else. The sloth also can only make milk for its babies for about 3 to 6 weeks, and that's all.
Wow.
So the sloth, most mammals produce, store, deliver milk for their babies. A sloth has no storage. It produces and delivers at the same time. So when the sloth, when the baby is nursing the milk, the sloth is producing the milk drop by drop as the baby eats it.
Wow.
It has no storage at all for milk for the baby. The sloth, when he is in the top of the tree, he is pretty much entirely safe from predators. When he is in the top of the tree, a snake cannot find a sloth because a sloth has no natural scent. He has no sweat gland, musk gland, scent gland, none of that. So a sloth has no smell. The sloth also has no body temperature different than the outside air temperature. This means that the snake literally cannot find a sloth except by dumb luck, because snakes hunt by smell and by temperature.
Yeah.
Sloth has neither. The cats cannot get to the snake, to the sloth. The sloth is on the bottom of the branch, and when he sees something moving, which his eyes have a structure called rod monochromacy, which means he has all rod cells, no cone cells. So if you've seen the movies where the SEALs or Army guys or whatever are running around with the night vision goggles on and you see their POV and you see just moving blobs everywhere, that's the way that a sloth's eyes work. So he sees motion well, he sees objects poorly. He can't see the difference between me and either one of you, but he sees us moving. So when a sloth sees motion, that's bad news for a sloth. So the sloth's nature is going to be end of the branch, get to the end of the branch, and then the branch is going to bend down under his weight. He only weighs 15 pounds. Now a cat large enough to threaten his life is going to be more like 50 pounds. And the cat is going to try to come out along the top of the branch like this, and he's going to get out there and what's he going to do, right? Yeah. So should the cat press the issue to the point that the whole mess falls 100 feet to the rainforest floor, the sloth will almost certainly survive the fall, and the cat will almost certainly not. So the sloth will look over the cat and he'll say, ha, ha, and back up the tree he goes, right?
Got him.
So so even though the sloth is entirely safe in the top of the tree, yet he comes all the way down the tree to go to the bathroom in the exact same place that he always goes. Same tree, same side of the tree.
Wow.
That's why they used to think that sloths lived only in one tree or a very small set of trees, is because of the way they go always. That is an interest. Is that a koi?
Yeah.
I used to keep koi. I had one pond that had, I don't know, 150 that were bigger than this in it.
Wow.
And I was in the Navy at the time, and a friend of mine came by to do a drain and fill, and it drained out of the bottom and filled through the waterfall at the top. And then a different friend came by and saw the hose run and turned it off and drained my pond. And bye-bye, more like 150 fish that were, this big up to that big.
That's
But
terrible.
yeah, what can you do? And then here, I just haven't got back into koi yet, but I have a couple of ponds and need to get back to it. But I love koi.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an iridescent green one?
I don't think so.
They're like a 1 in 25,000 thing when you're breeding koi, and they can be worth tens of thousands of dollars.
That's crazy.
And I was actually in Japan one time in this one town where the koi swim in channels down both sides of all of the streets, and they can be like this big. They're mainly black, but there are other colors there too, and they are like this big. And they say that these fish are more than 100 years old, and just massive, massive koi, but like bodies like this heavy.
Wow.
Just amazing fish. But anyway, we're here to talk about sloths. So comes down the same tree, same side of the tree to go to the bathroom in the exact same place that he always does. Now this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Why is he going to risk his life to go to the bathroom? So the first idea on that was he's just a neat animal. I mean, he's going to come down the tree and risk his life because he's Adrian Monk? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then the next idea was he's fertilizing his own tree via his waste. Again, dumb idea. I mean, if he went from anywhere in the canopy of the tree, it lands above the root system of the tree, so no. So the actual reason why the sloth comes all the way down the tree, same side of the tree, that's a three-banded armadillo, and goes to the bathroom in the exact same place that he always does, is the sloth-moth symbiotic relationship. There is a group of moths in the world called sloth moths that live nowhere on Earth except in the fur and in the waste pile of a sloth. It is a symbiotic relationship, meaning beneficial to both sides of the equation, where parasitic would be beneficial to one, neutral or harmful to the other. So the benefit to the moth is that the sloth is the food source and the living environment of the moths. The only two reasons the moths will leave the sloth in their life is to drink water that pools in leaves up in the canopy of the rainforest and to get into the waste pile to lay their eggs. They are eating the moss and algae that grows all in the sloth's fur.
Wow.
Now, the benefit to the sloth is that as the moth is living, and there are 100 to 150 moths living all in his fur all of the time. If you see a picture of a wild sloth, that's why they're all covered in moss and algae, is the moss and algae is then being fertilized by the waste of the moths. Benefit to the sloth, the one animal that can get to it in the top of the trees is going to be an eagle. Doesn't need smell, doesn't need the weight of the branch, doesn't need temperature, it can see it. So more moss, more algae, more disguise from the eagle. The second benefit to the sloth is that as he grooms himself, he licks up a certain amount of the moths themselves. That is the protein source for the sloth in the wild. The third and most important benefit for the sloth is that, hey, why are you up there, buddy? Hey, come see us. What are you doing, dude? Hey, come here. Come and see us, buddy. Yeah, you smell the banana, right? You gonna lick my fingers?
He said, well, there's no
I
more
would.
bananas, so.
I'm good.
Yeah. So the benefit, as the sloth grooms himself, he licks up a certain amount of the waste of the moss. That is critically important for the sloth. The sloth digests his food primarily by a bacterial process. He does have enzymes, but primarily bacterial. We digest our food primarily enzymatically when it gets to the point of digestibility. You know, the same mechanical motion that exists in us exists in him. But at the point of absorbability, it's primarily enzymatic for us, it's primarily bacterial for the sloth. Now, we also have helpful gut bacteria. Our gut bacteria will last throughout our lives unless we take a lot of antibiotics.
Yeah.
Take a lot of antibiotics, we need some probiotics or some Greek yogurt, fix our guts back up. Now, he's never heard of GNC, he doesn't know the way to Publix, he's not getting probiotics, he's not getting Greek yogurt. So to repair his gut health, he gets his replacement gut bacteria from the moth, the waste of the moth. That's where he gets his replacement gut bacteria. It is a proven fact that in the wild, if a sloth's moth colony fails to thrive, the sloth will expire due to starvation 30 days later.
Wow.
Now here, he doesn't need the moths. Praise the Lord. Who wants to handle a sloth with 150 moths on it, right?
Yeah.
So
Do
you
those
got
moths
all the ink. I like pineapples. I'm a Hawaii kind of guy.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Dole plantation?
I haven't.
Oh,
I
pretty
used to
cool.
work in hospitality, so the pineapple is the symbol for hospitality.
Yeah. The sea captain has returned. He's home. He's receiving guests. Pineapple on
That's
top
right.
of the pole.
Oh.
Yeah. So the sloth, as this sloth grooms himself, he replaces his gut bacteria. Now here he doesn't need the moths. First, he doesn't need camouflage. Nothing is here hunting him. Second, he doesn't need the protein. We give him hard-boiled eggs for his protein source. Third, he doesn't need the replacement bacteria. Now for us, what interrupts our gut health is antibiotics. If we never took antibiotics, we never need probiotics, right? So for him, what interrupts his gut health is cold temperature.